Good afternoon, Saitlanders. How are you? We hope that things are well. I record all of the videos that I make in a notebook, one of these Christian art gift type notebooks. And it has these little verses at the bottom of each page, And I just read the one on this page, and I'd like to share it with you, and may it be a blessing. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord show you his favor and give you his peace. That is from Numbers 6, verses 24 to 26. May the Lord give you his peace. I've been asked to reiterate so I'm going to have to read from here. Reiterate our perception of the trajectory of the COVID/financial crisis. In other words, the general circumstances under which we labor at present in the Western world. In overwhelmingly the Western world. Right. We said some months ago, it was just by sheer luck, if you like, that the crisis should begin when it did begin, and therefore we had a year-long projection that we spoke about in 4 particular phases. So we said that the months of January, February, and March would be a period of anticipation. If you like, if you wish to compare it to a motor vehicle accident, those of you who've had a little crash or an event, an incident will understand this very well. You have the period of anticipation, you know it's going to happen, and that causes a lot of fright and overreaction. You're terrified, you're about to collide, there's going to be an accident, injuries, damage, people shouting, distress, and so you are fearful in anticipation of this event, and fear leads people to overreact. The fear itself is almost traumatic or painful, but in that moment of overreaction, you can be told to do almost anything. You can be induced, you can be persuaded, you can be convinced to do almost anything. Such as wearing a mask and staying at home and shutting down your business and going bankrupt and being jobless and not being able to pay your children's school fees. Then we said that the second period would, and again it's kind of convenient really, but this is just what made sense to us at the time, is these 3-month segments, 4 3-month segments over a year. The collision and the immediate damage. So the event, so there's the anticipation, January through March, then the event itself strikes, and the event didn't have to be a big COVID infection. We spoke about this in January. In late January, I produced videos after having consulted with Queenie Maria and Mr. Miller about what was the right thing to say, what did we understand, what was clear, what was coming out of China, what information were we being fed from the Army War College in Pennsylvania, the USA. In late January, we said, this thing may not be nearly as lethal as they're making it out to be. We said it appears as if it affects certain races differently to others. We said the real threat, though, the real threat is the economic threat and the consequences. If they shut down the economy the way that they have done in Wuhan, in China, then we're in for big trouble in South Africa. Right. So we've had this collision, this occurrence. Great or small, it doesn't matter. That was in the period April, May, June. The consequences of it will, however, be enormous. You would never see them in April because people were living on their March salaries. The presidential announcement came on the 23rd of March, Monday the 23rd of March. The lockdown began at midnight on midnight Thursday, Friday the 26th or the 27th, effectively Friday really, the 27th of March. People got their March salaries. They lived on them in April as if nothing was wrong. So we further said, not then in January, I'm talking about this video being a reiteration of the trajectory, the phased trajectory of this COVID financial crisis. So what did we say before? We said you won't even see the consequences in, excuse me, I've got something stuck in my tooth. You won't even see the consequences in May because people will tighten their belts, they'll eat slightly less, they won't spend the money that they usually do on fuel to go to work. Kids are not at school, they may miss a school fees payment, and so on and so forth. We said you won't even really see the economic consequences at once in June. It will be late June and July before you really see the pain of the collision. So we've had the anticipation and all of the fear and the hype and the overreaction and the brainwashing and the propaganda in January, February and March. Then March, April, May, we had the real event, the shutdown of the economy of South Africa, the almost total shutdown of the economy, the collision. But not the consequences. The consequences, that enormous pain of broken ribs in a vehicle collision, for instance, happens after the collision. It's in the minutes, hours, days, and maybe weeks after the actual collision that you feel the worst of it. And we believe that that will be in the months of July, August, and September. That the real trauma or the real damage to South Africa will be felt and experienced. The damage that has occurred in April, May, and June will be felt in July, August, and September. And then finally we said that what was the word that we used? We had anticipation, collision, and then the following, the pain, trauma, and shock. And then we said the phrase that we used for the fourth 3-month period, namely October, November, and December, was picking up the pieces and stabilizing. Picking up the pieces and stabilizing. So, which doesn't make it a good time at all, but it is the time during which people are responding appropriately to the trauma that they've been through. Not by putting on a foolish mask, but by doing what it takes to help one another, to find food, to get a new job, to find an income perhaps by some other means, to obtain support, to give support. So I think I have adequately reiterated what it is that I've had a couple of people ask me to reiterate, namely our understanding or our perception of the trajectory of the COVID/financial crisis in South Africa. I suppose the upshot is that the worst is yet to come. We haven't felt the worst of the pain of the collision, of the big event, of the shutdown of the South African economy in April, May and June particularly. Still now, but particularly then, the hard lockdown. We haven't yet begun to feel the worst of the pain. It's yet to come. The worst is yet to come. Sadly. But God willing, we can stand with one another and help one another, as per Colonel Wynand du Toit's excellent video. It's the one that features the Sir Richard Attenborough BBC Nature wildlife story clip about the two lions, the one lion being encircled by hyenas and then receiving help from his buddy lion. It may be of interest to you. It's very good. It's a very, very good piece of oratory. So much so that it has the highest percentage of likes that I've ever seen on YouTube. Not the absolute number, the percentage as a fraction or proportion of the number of views. But just something less than 25% likes. That's phenomenal. You may know of videos that have more, but I don't. Never seen any video that has almost 25% likes, which says a lot for the quality of the oration, of the, the presentation. Brilliant, really good. May it be a lesson to all of us. Oom Jan van der Merwe, Oom Jan Snor, has been talking to us about that in our morning Zoom meetings. And Oom Jan has been talking about that Psalmstaan, that thing of surrounding yourself with people who are on the same mission as you, who have the same interest as you do. And you've heard me talk about the necessity now, the necessity for forming small groups based upon mutually interdependent or mutually dependent high trust relationships. We can go into it again some other time. Okie dokie, everybody. Thank you very much for listening. Cheerio. Bye-bye.